Good morning and let's start.
Hi, sir. Good morning.
Hi. Hi. Okay. Let me start the class. Okay. So, is there any
Okay, sir.
queries regarding the last class?
No, sir.
Fine,
Everything
then
is
let us start.
okay, sir.
Okay. So in the last class, we discussed about the configuration related to what is meant by, so not about the configuration, we just discussed about what is AWS and how AWS is configured, how, what is the main difference, what is the syllabus for the course and course content, especially if I had to say, and who can study the course. And then we discussed about the on-premises environment. What is the hurdles that you will face in the on-premises environment? These are the topics that we have seen in the last class. Today, we will be discussing about a new topic. Today, we will be discussing about a new topic, that is our AWS. In AWS, you need to understand when we are creating certain VPC components. So we have to create VPC, virtual private cloud, and all the things. There you need to have a brief understanding about the networking concept. I won't go very in depth into the network. Why? Because if I go in depth into the network, you will get confused about what is all the things happening beyond. So I will just go with the basics of networking concepts, and then I will dive back into the next configurations. Okay. So what is meant by network here? Your network means connecting two or more devices with the help of a cable. With the help of a cable or else any communication media is called as a network. So if, for example, I am having two different servers, or else there is a server and there is a client. So I'm having two different servers. Okay, so if I'm having two different servers, if I want to make the connection between these two different servers, what I can do here is I can establish a connectivity that is called as network. Not only between two different servers, you can have multiple servers, two or more servers you can have. If you are making the connection between these two servers, then we can form a network. So establishing, if at all, if we are transmitting the data between these two servers or these two computers, then that is called as networking. So here, any device which is having an IP address, is called as a networking device, is called as a host. Okay, any device which is having an IP address, it is called as a host. Now, just let me give you a brief example of this host and all the things before we dive into the networking concept. I would like to tell you about a small infrastructure where we are using our mobile phones and all the things, right? So let me introduce you to that infrastructure, and then we will come back to this networking concept. If I say that, it will be easy for you to catch. For example, you and your friend, or else there are so many friends for you. So there are multiple friends. So like a 10 to 15 friends are there who are meeting very oftenly. Now each and every person is having a mobile phone. Each and every friend of yours are having a mobile phone, and you are also having a mobile phone. Now, for example, if you want to communicate with your friend, if you want to talk with your friend, what you will do? You will type some number. And you will connect the call to your friend. The network in the transmission media will connect the call to your friend. Now here you are having a device, and with the help of the device, you can able to communicate with your friend. Now your friend should also have a device, and he should also have the phone number. Now here, if you want to establish the communication, first of all, you and your friends are having different networking signals. For example, you are having Airtel SIM card, and your friend may be having some BSNL or Reliance SIM card. Now, still you are able to make the communication. How you are making the communication, that is altogether a different concept. But if you think here, these two belongs to the different networks. Okay. In the another manner, if I have to say you a simple thing in a simple manner, if I have to say this, you have joined in an institute. There are several institutes. You have joined in an institute. Inside the institute, there are several physical classrooms. Try to understand this point. There are several physical classrooms. And in each and every physical classroom, for example, there are so many students. Okay, but the students of a particular class will not communicate with the students of another class. Okay, for example, there are the students who are learning Python. So there are the students who are learning Java, and there are the students who are learning AWS, and there are the students who are learning Azure. Now, each and every category will be differ from itself. If you can see here, physically, if you see, all the students belongs to the same institute. Physically, if you see, all the students will belongs to the same institutes. For example, let us supposing this is my CG or else DURGASOFT only. Okay, DURGASOFT. This is the DURGASOFT Institute, where there are so many classrooms are available. For example, physically, there are so many classrooms are available. Okay, so whenever the students are joining this, they will say that in which institute you are studying. They will say that I am studying in DURGASOFT. They will mention only about the institute name, and they are not going to mention about the course. Anyways, coming back to this is how your physical classrooms will be there, and all the students, whoever are the students, they will be entering into the class. Okay, so now when the students are entering into the classes, they might be in different professions. All this together is different one. If you see the physically, every student is going into the DURGASOFT Institute only, but the communication between these students, between the class students, will not be there. So, but within the same class students, you will have the communication. Within the same class students, you will have the communication. And every student will be given with an identification. Every student will be given with an identification, or else I can call it as a roll number. Okay, that is a logical number. Whatever the number that is provided for the student in DURGASOFT Institute, that number will not be there when he goes to a office. When he goes to, or else when he went to any office, the number will not be there for the student. When he go to his home, the number will not be there for him. So that roll number will be available only up to this particular institute, or else at this particular time only. If we go into the another network, like if he went to his office, or else if he goes to his office, in office he will have a different employee ID. So which means that the logical numbering is differing from one network to the another network. In the same manner, in computer networks also, so if one, suppose, as I already said you, that there are several students, so student 1 and student 2, student 3, like that, there are several students. If they want, they are all integrated, or else they are all combined because of this class. Try to understand this. They're all combined because of this class. If one student want to communicate with another student without knowing their name, they can call them with their roll numbers. Okay, but this is physical, we are not able to see that. But anyways, I want to say this. Yeah, they don't know, if the students don't know the names, they will call them with the roll numbers, for example. Okay, so they will communicate like this. But when you go back to the next network, the roll numbers will be differing. So here you need to understand this point. So here, all the student inside the classroom, whoever are the students that are residing inside this classroom, either it might be an AWS class, or else this is your Azure class. Okay, this is your Azure class. So in the Azure class, there will be another set of students will be there. If these students wants to communicate with this student, then they need to get the permission of their faculty. Without having the permission of the faculty, the other students will not communicate with the another class students. In the same manner, when we coming back to the networking concept, try to understand here, we will be having a very big network, a very big corporate network. You will be having a very big corporate network, whether it might be an organization network. Okay, so this is the physical overview. This is your company. Inside the company, you will be having so many computers. In multiple departments, you will be having the computers. So all the computers might be interconnected with each other. All the computers are interconnected with each other. As I said you that here you are having the students, all the students are able to make the communication with each other. Why? Because they belongs to the same network. They belongs to the same network. Now here also there are so many computers. Here also there are so many computers which belongs to the same network. They will communicate with each other. So if they have a connectivity, they can communicate with each other. Here the connectivity in the sense the cabling. If the cabling connection is made, each and every computer will communicate with each other. In the same manner, if you come to this example, if these two are of same, if they know the same language, they can easily make the communication with all the people. So that is how here in the normal terminology, the students are making communication. Here, when you come to the computer terminology, the computers will communicate with each other if they are having a specialized IP, if they are having a specialized address called as IP address. IP address. If there is no IP address configured for the computer, then the computer will not communicate with the another computer. Just when you go back to the mobile example, if you don't have your friend's mobile number, are you able to communicate with your friend? So to communicate with any another person through the mobile, definitely you need to have that person's mobile number. If you don't have the person's mobile number, you are unable to communicate. So in the same manner, these computers, whatever the computer one wants to communicate with the computer 2, then definitely each and every computer must have an IP address. Without the IP address, the computers or servers cannot communicate with each other. So here we are having two types of IPs. Try to understand this. We are having two types of IPs. One is private IP and the other one is public IP. There are two types of IPs. One is private. Oh, sorry. First of all, I need to explain you about IPv4 and IPv6. These are the two types of IPs that we are having. So IPv4 is a 32-bit logical address. It is a 32 bits. So when I say about bit, automatically you need to switch to binary. Okay, binary digits, binary number system, ones and zeros, 32 bits. Bits will be in the form of ones and zeros. So it's a 32-bit, it is a 32-bit logical address. And when you come back to the IPv6, it is a 128-bit logical address, 128-bit logical address. And this is also in the format of, actually for our user understanding, we will convert this binary format into the decimal format. For the user understanding, we are going to convert the IP address into the decimal format. By default, the IP address will be in the binary format only. When we come back to the IPv6, the IPv6 address will be in the hexadecimal format. Inside this, you will be having in the binary format only. Okay, in the binary format only, which is ones and zeros. But when you come to the user understandability capability, then it will be in the hexadecimal format. Okay, so IPv4 is in decimal format and IPv6 is in hexadecimal format. Here, if you see, it is a 32-bit architecture and here it is a 128-bit architecture. For example, what I can say, if anybody wants to communicate through mobile number, we will be having 10-digit mobile number. So why we have to have 10-digit mobile number? That is the convention that is given by your mobile industry. Okay, in the same manner, here you are having IPv4 consisting of 32 bits, and these 32 bits are divided into 4 different parts. 32 bits are divided into 4 portions. Those are called as octets. The name itself indicating that octet. Octet means in each and every portion you will have oct, which means 8 bits. Okay, 8 bits. So in each and every octet, you will be having 8 bits that will be in the binary format. If you convert all the 8 bits into the decimal format, they will be ranging from 0 to, excuse me. If you convert the 8 bits into the decimal format, as I said you that for the user understandable language. So this is the language which is understandable by the computer. But if you convert this 8 bits into binary to decimal format, the numbers will be ranging from 0 to 255. So in each and every octet, the numbers will be ranging. So as I said you that there are 4 portions and these portions are called as octets. In each and every portion, the number will be ranging from 0 to 255 to 0 to 255. Like this. Apart from 255, you won't get 256 in the IPv4 address. So the main, the maximum number of digits that will be involved in each and every portion is 0 to 255 address numbers only. So this is how an IP address will be designed, and IPv4 address will be there. And the IPv4 address will be, each and every octet will be divided with the help of a dot notation. So this is called as dot notation. If I have to specify an IP address in the IPv4 format, I can specify like 10.1.1.100. So everything, the octets are divided with the help of dot notation. This is about your IPv4 address. So in this IPv4 address, here you are having 4 portions. Here you are having 4 portions. As like, for example, let us suppose think, for example, if you are going in a airlines, or else if you are going, or else if you are attending for a session and you will be presented with a roll number. Inside the roll number will be divided into 2 portions. The roll number will be divided into 2 portions. One is which class you are attending, and the next one is the number, the specified number for you. There will be several students. There will be several students. Like for example, which class you are attending? You are attending to AWS class. Now, how many number of students are there? For me, there I can see that there are 4 students are attending to this class. So the number will be like this. Numbering will be given like 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4 like this. So what is your roll number? It might be like AWS hyphen DURGASOFT hyphen 01. So here, which is constant? Here, the network, if you can see, this one is constant. For each and every people, you will get the same. Okay. So whoever are attending to the classes, here, the notation is same. The classes that you are attending is same. Okay. So what is differing? Your roll numbers are differing. For each and every person, the roll numbers are differing. So if at all, unfortunately, if I gave the same roll numbers, then what is going to happen? There will be a conflict between the 2 persons. So the roll numbers should be different. For each and every people, the roll number should be different. In the same manner, here you can see this is the IP address. This is the IP address which I am specifying. So in the same manner, here you can see this is the IP address which I am specifying. The IP address is divided into 2 different portions. So of course, there are 4 portions, but they are divided into 2 parts. One is the network part and the other one is the host part. As I already said you that here you can see in the roll number example, here you can see there is this particular class. So all the students are attending to the AWS. So the network part is common. The network part is common, but here the host part who are attending, the numbers are changing. So 0, 1 to 255, the numbers will be keep on changing. So which means that this is constant. If I make this class as Python, now you can see here, the first student is attending AWS class and the second student is attending the Python class. So both belongs to the different numbers, which means that the network is different. In the same manner, depending upon the networking numbering format, we can say that whether this particular computer belongs to a same network or different network. How we are going to specify, I will tell you it later, but this is how your IPv4 address will be looking like. So what we have discussed up to now, we discussed about what is meant by networking. Networking means connection of 2 different devices with the help of a communication. Either it might be a wired communication or else wireless communication. The second thing we discussed about the concept is how computers will communicate. Computers or servers will communicate with the help of a logical address that is called as an IP address. And how IP addresses will be looking like. IP addresses are of 2 types. One is IPv4 and the other one is IPv6. IPv4 is of 32-bit address, and this 32-bit address will be in the binary format. For understandability for the humans, the binary format is converted into the decimal format. Now, these 32 bits are divided into 4 octets, and each and every octet will be ranging from 0 to 255. So this is how the IP address will be looking like. And this IP address are having 2 different parts. One is network part and the other one is host part. Host parts are nothing but the device part. Network part will say about to which network the devices belongs to. So network part and host part. These are the 2 parts that are available inside a IP address. So by defining the host part, I can say that how many devices can be installed inside the network. We will go in depth into this, but as of now, this is what we can say about the networking concept. Is there any doubts up to now? Any clarification that you want? Guys? Any doubts? Any questions? Bharat, you are not audible.
Oh, it's clear, sir. No, it's clear.
Okay, fine. When we go back to this, in this example, we have specified something. In this example, in this class example, we have specified something. Depending upon what we are specifying, as we are the humans, we can understand that, okay, this particular student belongs to AWS, this particular student belongs to Python. As we have the brains, we can understand that the difference between both the roll numbers. But computers doesn't have so much brain like humans. Of course, now artificial intelligence came into the picture. That is altogether a different concept. But anyways, computers cannot work without giving particular what I can say information. Without giving any input to the computers cannot work. In the same manner, here I am saying that there will be an IP address with 4 different portions. Those are called as octets. And again, what I said, depending upon this IP address is divided into 2 different portions. One is network portion and the other one is the host portion. So how computer will understand which portion belongs to the network portion and which portion belongs to the host portion? To differentiate that, we are having a special type of logical address. Again, we are having a special type of logical address which is interlinked to your IP address. Without this logical address, your IP address will not be there. So that is called as subnet mask. What subnet mask is going to do? Subnet mask will help you to find out which is the network portion of your IP address and which is the host portion of your IP address. In networking, especially in subnet mask, one number is represented as network bit. Try to understand here. In subnet mask, especially in the subnet mask, one number is represented as a network bit and 0 number is represented as a host bit. 0 number is represented as a host bit. Now, if the subnet mask is looking like this, for example, there is an IP address like, A dot B dot C dot D. I am not into the numbering format still, but I am giving an example. If there is an IP address like A dot B dot C dot D, and the subnet mask is looking like 8 ones. As I already said you that subnet mask is also a 32-bit logical address which is divided into 4 octets. It is as equivalent to, the formation is completely equivalent to your IP address only. So here what is going to happen for the subnet mask also, you will have 8 bits in each and every portion. Okay, so in each and every portion, the subnet mask is also having the 8 bits. Now if you can see, this is how the subnet mask is looking like. So among this subnet mask, which portion belongs to network portion? Here I have specified that, here I have mentioned that one belongs to the network, which means that here I am seeing all ones in my subnet mask. So the first portion is the network portion. So what subnet mask is going to say to my IP address? This is the IP address, guys. Don't get confused. This is the IP address and this is the subnet mask. What subnet mask will specify to the IP address? Subnet mask will specify to the IP address that the first portion of the IP address is the network portion, as I have all ones in the first portion. As the subnet mask is having all ones in the first portion, then it will be indicating that the IP address first portion is the network portion and remaining 3 portions are the host portions. Like if you can go here, so as you can see, AWS is the constant for a student roll number. For example, if at all it is constant for student roll number -01, and then you can go over AWS -02, AWS -03. Like this, the student roll numbers will be keep on incrementing. In the same manner, here the first portion is constant, which means that the first octet of the IP address is the network octet and the remaining 3 octets are the host octets, where you will have the identification, where you will have the device identifications like this 01, 02, 03 like this. Okay. So For example, let me give like this. If you convert this is in the binary format, guys. Try to understand, this is in the binary format. So here you can see only ones and zeros, which means that this is in the binary format. If I convert this binary format into the decimal format, if you convert the 8 ones into the decimal format, you are going to get the output as 255.0.0.0. So if you convert all zeros into the decimal format, then you are going to get the decimal number as 0 only. But if you convert this 8 ones into the decimal format, whatever the binary numbers into the decimal format, you are going to get the value as 255, which means that here you are having single 255 is there, which means that the subnet mask is representing for your IP address that your first octet is the network octet and remaining 3 octets are the host octets. For example, there is an IP address like 10.25.26.27. This is the IP address which I am specifying, and the subnet mask is 255.0.0.0. Here you can clearly see that the first portion is the network portion. So this is the network portion of the IP address. So if you can see, 10 is the network portion of the IP address and remaining 3 are the host portions. So if there is another IP address like this 10.25.26.28 and the subnet mask is 255.0.0.0. So I can say that, so here in this IP address, your network portion is same. In this IP address also, the network portion is same. So these two belongs to the same network. As I can say you that in the previous example here, you can say, where is this AWS example? If I go back and say AWS-01 and AWS-02. So here you can see in the roll number, both are attending the same class. So the network is constant. So these two students belongs to the same class. In the same manner, here you can see the network octets, the network portions of the IP address belongs to the same network. How you are going to differentiate that? I will say that depending upon the subnet mask. So the subnet mask specifies that the first octet of the IP address is the network octet. So this IP address and this IP address, both IP address belongs to the same network octets, or same network. So these two can communicate with each other. Now, for example, despite of like this, if I have given 10.25.26.27 and the second IP address is 11.25.26.27. So if you can see here, I am having one network portion in the subnet mask. So the first network portion of the IP address is the network portion, and the second, and in the second IP address also, the first portion is called as the network portion. Now, if these two are there like this, so what I can say, here you can see the network bit errors, network number is 10. Here you can see the network number is 11, which means that they belongs to the different network. So they cannot communicate with each other. Now what I can do here is, let me go back to the another example for you, 10.25.26.27. and the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. And I will go with the 10.24.25.26 and the subnet mask is 255.255.0.0. Can you say whether these two belongs to the same network or different network? How can you say that, whether these two belongs to the same network or different network? These two IP address, whether they belongs to the same network or different network? Response, guys. Here, how many octets are the network octets depending upon the subnet mask? How many octets are the network octets? Response, please.
Sir, what? How it's hello.
Hello.
Sir, yeah, sir, 255.255. I didn't understand, sir. Last line.
What? This one or this one?
Second one, sir.
This one.
Yes.
What is that to understand? How many octets are there with the 255, which means that this is a network octet. This is also the network octet. So how many network portions are there in this subnet mask? I am having two network portions. So it will represent the IP address as the first two portions are the network portions. So here you can see in this IP address, you are having 10.25. If you come to the second IP address, you are having 10.25. Both are the different different networks. How you can say that? Because here you are having 25 as the network number, and here you are having 24 as the network number, which belongs to the different network. Depending upon this 255, you have to specify whether they belongs to the same network or different network. Okay. So anyways, coming back to this, so as I already said you that completely your IP address is dependent towards your subnet mask. Without subnet mask, the IP address will not be there. Okay. So if I have to start again, so I will pause here. I am slightly deviating from the topic. Why? Because I don't know. When I start from IP addresses, so many people are not interested. So if I start from IAM concept, again, I am slightly deviating from the topic. I am going into the some another topic. So I will come back to this. Just to hold on here. So if I don't go with the networking concept, if I directly go to the IAM, so several classes will be starting with IAM. I am not comparing, but not only this institute, in any institute, the classes will be starting with the maximum number of institute, the classes will be starting with the IAM. So if you don't know what is EC2 and how to apply the policies on EC2 and how to create the user accounts and all the things, how to create the servers and all the things, so you will not able to understand how you are applying the policies on the servers, first thing. And the second thing is, if you don't know the basic blocks, the blocks are the VPCs for entire AWS course, the blocks are VPCs. VPC is nothing but virtual private cloud, which belongs to the networking concept. If you don't understand the IP addressing concept and you are diving into the EC2 configuration, how to create the servers, what you will understand, in which VPC the server is created, what is the IP address of that particular server, particular VPC, and how it is communicating. If you don't know all these things, then it is very tricky for you to understand the remaining concept. There will be EC2 instances. Why the EC2 instances are creating in VPC? Whether without VPC, can't we create the EC2 instances? No, we cannot create the instances without VPC. So to create the VPC, you need to have a basic understanding about the networking concept, which are interlinked with each other. So that is the reason I am starting with networking. So as a normal trainer, I can start from IIM, or else I can start from EC2. I can start from EC2. In EC2, we have a super topics like how to create the EC2, what is meant by AMI, and then load balancer, auto scaling rules, which will be very interesting for you. I can start the topics from that. But if I start the topics from that, you will not understand. We will be selecting the VPC, we will be selecting the subnets, we will be selecting the security groups, internet gateways, and all the things. So you will be in a confusion state. So I am starting from the basic blocks, that is VPC. To understand the VPC, you need to understand the IP address. So that is the reason I am saying this. Okay. Now coming back to our concept.
So what is EC2, sir?
We'll discuss. EC2 is nothing but elastic cloud computing. It's an instance. We'll discuss about that. But anyways, coming back to our topic, I'm diverting back to our topic. Now, here, these are about your IP addresses and subnets. So every IP address belongs to the subnets. Every IP address is dependent on subnet. Without the subnet mask, the IP address cannot be defined. To understand the IP address, definitely you need to have a basic understanding about the subnets. Without subnets, you will not understand the IP addresses. Try to understand this format. So again, I'm specifying this. Suppose if you go into a company, there are so many divisions. So for example, what I can say here is, there is a very big company. Suppose think that this is the network. This is the very big company which you are having. Okay. So inside this company, there are 65,000 employees are there. Why I am taking 65,000, you can come to know about that. There are 65,000 employees are working inside the company. Now, to manage this 65,000 employees by a single person will be a hectic task. So what I will do, I will divide this 65,000 employees into small categories. So a particular set of employees belongs to HR department, a particular set of employees belongs to software department, a particular set of employees belongs to admin department, a particular set of employees belongs to accountant department. Like that, I am going to divide them. So which means that the subdivisions I am going to do, try to understand, I am going to make the subdivisions. Okay, so this is division 1 and this is division 2 and this is division 3, like that. Okay, and each and every subdivision, I will allocate some cabins for each and every employee who are working in that divisions. I am going to allocate the cabins. Okay, so I am going to allocate like this. This is the cabin which I am allocating for the user 1. Okay, and this is the cabin which I am allocating for user 2, user 3, user 4. Like that, I am going to allocate the cabins. Now, when we come back to the conventional networking, if you can see here, this is the mathematical calculations, guys. Don't get confused. Here, can you tell me total how many host bits are there in the subnet mask which I have specified? If you can see here, how many host bits are there? Let us forget about this. Suppose the subnet mask is like this: 255.255.0.0. I already said you that this is in the decimal format, which is understandable by the user. But if you want to understand the subnet mask, if you convert the subnet mask into the binary format, the subnet mask will be converted as 8 ones. So 255 can be written as 8 ones. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So why we have to write this as 8 ones? Try to go through the concept from the Google, search in the Google. Why? Because again, if I have to specify, so I request you to learn binary to decimal format convention so that it will be very easy for you to understand this topic. So here what is happening? The 255 can be written as 8 ones and 0 will be written as 8 zeros. Okay, so there are 8 zeros. So if I want to convert the binary to decimal and decimal to binary format, this complete subnet mask is written in the binary format like this. The complete subnet mask can be written in the binary format like this. Now, if I write like this, how many network bits are there? In the starting itself, I said you that in subnet mask, 1 is represented as a network bit and 0 is represented as a host bit. If you can see here, how many network bits are there in this subnet mask and how many host bits are there in this subnet mask? Can you tell me that?
16 are network bit and 16 are host bit.
Very good. There are 16 network bits and 16 host bits. So host bits belongs to your networking devices. Host bits belongs to your computers or else computers, servers. Okay, so hosts are nothing but the devices. Hosts are nothing but the devices that are located inside your network. Hosts are nothing but the computers that are located inside your network. So total how many hosts I can deploy inside my network? So total you can deploy how many how many host bits are there? There are 16 host bits, which means that you can create 2 power 16 computers, which means 65,536 computers you can create inside this network, which is having this subnet mask. Okay, so you can create up to 65,000 devices. If at all, if Sorry guys, there is a power loss from my end. So hold on.
Okay.
So where is this? One. So when we come back to this, as we are discussing about the subnetting concept, so here total number, I am not sharing the screen guys, don't worry. I did not have the permission, so I am not sharing the screens. I am just delivering you the theory concept here. Now what I want to say here is, what is this? Yeah, subnetting. When you come back to this, so total 65,000 devices I can configure. Total 65,000 devices I can configure inside a network. So as there are 65,000 devices are configured, I cannot administrate these 65,000 devices at a time. I cannot administrate the 65,000 devices at a time. So for that reason, what I am going to do here is I am going to divide these computers, what are the 65,000 computers are there, I am going to divide them into small portions. Those are called as subnets. As you can see here, this is what the structure I have given here. These 65,000 employees are divided into small subdivisions. So in the same manner here, we are having the 65,000 computers. These 65,000 computers are divided into small networks. So those are called as subnets. Inside these subnets, suppose if I want to have 256 subnets, if I want to have 256 subnets totally, so there is a single subnet which is having 65,000 devices. One subnet, one network is there. Okay, one network is there, and this network is having 65,000 devices. 65,536 devices are there. For 256 subnets, how many devices I can get per each subnet? So how many devices I can get per each subnet? Simply divide these total number of devices with the total subnet. So you will get 256. If you have doubt, you can calculate. See that 256 into 256. The output is 65,536. Got it? So per each subnet, I can have 256 computers. So here, what is going to happen now? This very big network, as I said you that I will be having 256 devices per each subnet. The subnet mask will be changing. The subnet mask will be changing to 255.255.255.0, where you will have 3 network portions and a single host portion. Why I need to have single host portion? What I am saying, per each subnet, you will be having 256 devices, right? So which means that here you can see total number of host bits. How many host bits are there? There are 8 host bits. So here you can see 2 power 8 that's equal to 256. If you have doubt, you can calculate. So I will go with don't get confused. It is not very important, but yes, you need to understand this. 2 to the power of 8 equal to, see that what is the value that I'm getting? 256, which means that total number of, now it has been the network, which is a very big network that is having 65,000 devices, is now transformed into 256 sub networks, where in each and every network you will be having 256 devices with the subnet mask as like this. Now, how many network portions, how many network bits are there in this particular subnet mask? Can you tell me that? How many network portions or else network bits are there in this particular subnet? When we divide the very big network into small network, how many network portions or else network bits are there?
24.
Exactly. So if I have to mention any VPC, the VPCs by default, the VPCs are mentioned as /16, and we are going to create the subnets as /24. We can create /17, /18, /19, /20. That is altogether a different concept where we have to learn about the subnetting, which will be very tricky for you. But as of now, so the VPC, we are going to create the VPC with the /16, and the subnet mask we are going to create with the /24. And inside the subnet mask, we will be having the IP addresses of our computers. So this is about the networking content. And then we need to discuss about the different types of IPs. One is public IP and the other one is private IP. So we will discuss about these things in the next class. What is meant by public IP? So a public, the name itself indicates that public IP is the IP address which can be accessible by anyone. So for example, what I can say here is, my name is Chaitanya, or else there is a friend of mine whose name is Krishna. So we all call him Krishna when he come outside of his home. But when he is in his home, he will not be called with the name Krishna. He will have a pet name. This is not mandatory for each and every home. There should not be a pet name for each and every person. But I am just giving you an example. So when a person comes out, the public name is different. When the person is inside his home, the private name is different. Or else here you can have in the same manner the public IP and private IP. So private IPs are the IP addresses that we are configuring. Private IP addresses are the IP addresses that we are configuring within the network, within the organization. If at all, if there are so many computers are there, then we are configuring the private IPs. Now, if these computers wants to communicate with the internet, that is public, then they have to communicate with the public IP. We will discuss about this in detail in the next class, and in the next class I am going to show you about how to configure, how to what I can say, what are the regions, availability zones, and edge locations of your AWS. And then we will be creating an AWS account. From Monday onwards, we are going to merge your batch into 10:30 batch, so that the batch timings will be changed to 10:30 to 11:30 or 12. So this is the second demo class, and tomorrow will be the last demo class for you. And from Monday onwards, who are paid the fees and who has enrolled for the course, they will be getting a paid link. Okay, so who has cleared their dues, whoever are interested in joining the course, they will get the link for themselves and they can join the course. And this is the second demo. Tomorrow will be the last demo. Okay.
Sir, will you
Any
provide
questions?
notes on regular? Sir, will you provide notes on regular basis?
So if I have to provide the notes, then who will say the practical?
Sorry.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So to complete the practical itself, it is going to take 1.5 hours. Okay. So at the time of creating the practical, at the time of creating the resources itself, I will tell you about what is, if at all there is a concept called as VPC peering is there. So I will define the definitions also. I will tell you the definitions that VPC peering. VPC peering is a service that is provided by AWS, which is helpful for you to make the communication between the VPCs. I will tell you that. So in video, the voice will be recorded. Okay. And at the time of creating the peering connections, you will see the practical. Now, whenever you are checking into the video, you will have the definition clearly given. So you can pause the video at that moment and you can write the definition itself. Okay. Providing the notes and completing the services, completing all services is impossible. So we will be completing somewhere like some 50 odd services. Yes. So to complete all those services and to say the notes for each and every service, it will be something tricky.
Interview questions, sir?
Obviously, at the time of giving you the presentation, practical presentation itself, I will tell you that in practical, they might be asking like this. So I will, in interview, they might be asking like this. So the interview questions will be said to you at the time of the execution of practical only. So each and everything will be said to you in the class, including the class itself. I am going to tell you about the interview perspective questions also.
On a regular basis, sir?
Yes, yes. For each and every topic, how interview questions will be there. Is there any interview questions on the topic? Suppose if I am saying NAT gateway, whether there will be any interview questions, then I will definitely say you at that point.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir. Fine.
Fine. So that's it, guys. We'll meet in the next session and discuss more on this networking, and then we will be diving into our. So whoever are having the cards, so to create an AWS free tier account. Free tier account means, again, I am saying everything is not free of cost. AWS, they will say that it's a free tier account, but it is not a complete free. You have to pay for some resources. So free tier account, don't think that it is a completely free account. You have to pay for that. Some resources might be chargeable. Okay.
Sir, we need to pay through debit card or credit card, sir.
If you have a debit card, that's well and good. Sorry, if you have a credit card, that's well and good. If you don't have the credit card, if you are having Visa or Master debit cards, RuPay card is not acceptable again. Visa, Master, or American Express. These are the 3 debit cards which are acceptable by your AWS.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
So that is the main benefit of AWS overcoming the Azure. To create the Azure account, definitely you need to have a credit card. But for creating the AWS account, you don't require the credit card. If you have the debit card, that too, Visa or MasterCard. Yeah, I will show you. I will show you. Tomorrow I will grant you the permissions. You are the people who are going to create the AWS account. I will be giving you the instructions how to create. That is very simple to create the AWS account, but I will show you how to create that. And we are going to create the AWS account. And you have to create an AWS account. Why? Because to do the practicals, you have to create an AWS account, and we have to do the practical. Okay. So without AWS account, you cannot complete the sessions. Got the point?
Okay, sir.
Yes. So that's it. We'll meet in the next session about this AWS configuration and other things. And one more thing here, I saw some. There are some invalid numbers whenever our team is trying to reach out to you. I saw that there are some invalid numbers. Please provide the valid numbers. Why? Because they can reach out to you regarding the whether are you interested in joining the course and all the things they want to know about that. So yeah. So who is this? Lakshmi, invalid, and then Ram. So I think Ramana not answering. And Sriharsha wants one more. Anyways, that's all what I want to say. So there are some invalid numbers. For please don't provide the invalid numbers. If at all, if any call from DURGASOFT within these 2 days, please try to attempt. Why? Because this is the last and final session. So tomorrow is the last and final demo class. And who are interested in joining to the course, they have to pay their fees. So whatever the fees that the DURGASOFT is saying, you have to pay the fees, and from Monday onwards the link will be changing. So please try to understand this. Okay, fine, guys. We'll meet in the next session and discuss about the private IP and public IP and what is the necessity of private IP and public IP. Then we will be diving back into the AWS configurations. That's all for today. Have a nice day.
Excuse me, Chaitanya.
Yes.
How many classes do we have per week? Monday to Friday or Monday to Saturday?
Monday to Friday.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Any other queries regarding the class timings?
Sir, will you provide recordings on the regular basis?
Yeah, daily you will get the recordings.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
And
yes. Yeah, go on.
So DURGASOFT hasn't confirmed about the timings. They told it will be either an hour before or at 11:30. Can you please confirm the timing?
The timings are from Monday onwards. It will be 10:30 a.m.
Okay.
10:30 to 11:30, or else it might be prolonged to 12. In some cases, not all days. Your class timings will be 10:30 to 11:30, but sometimes it might be prolonged to 11:30, 11:45, or 12. Up to 12. 12 is a dead end. That's it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Fine, guys. We'll meet in the next session. Have a nice day and bye.